Hello everybody, it's almost 4 o'clock on Sunday the 24th of February 2013. This is the first video in my new series, Improve Your Life, and in this episode I'm going to introduce myself. So hello, I'm Mark, I'm 39, I'm the father to 3 children. There's Charlie who's 4.5, Lily who just turned 2 in January, and Joe who is about 6 months old now. I'm a teacher. And that's me in a nutshell. So my reason for starting this video log is I'm worried at the moment that I'm going to lose my job. I teach in a private school, and with the economic climate and where the location of the school is and various other factors, our pupil numbers are going down. I mean, I'm great at my job, the kids love me, but for parents nowadays, because I teach in the primary part, the prep of the school, a lot of parents think, well, university fees and that to come in the future, we need to save money. The thing to do is to cut private education up to the age of 11. As a teacher, I can tell you that's really quite a bad idea, because we get so many girls arrive in year 7 at age 11 who've gone to a state school, done the normal thing, and their spelling's terrible, their maths, they've missed big parts of it. When I've taught in state schools in the past, taken over classes on supply, children that are aged 10, 11 very rarely can multiply, can divide. The standard skills are being lost. It's mainly down to discipline in the class. If you've got a class of 30, you can guarantee a couple of the kids are going to be badly behaved, and because of that you end up missing a lot of your teaching time. In my school at the moment, if we've got an hour-long lesson, I do the lesson introduction, takes 5 to 10 minutes, give out the books, and then the children are going then. You know, no shouting out, calling out, disturbing, no one off target. I can go over and give them one-to-one help if it's a new thing they're stuck on. At the moment we're learning fractions. And for some of the girls, they've never encountered them before, because we tend to get girls come in and join the class at a point where the parents are a bit sick of the school they're in, you know, state school wise. They think, right, we'll look at private education, is this going to improve it? And, you know, the answer generally is yes. If you've got the money and the time, then it's a really good way of giving your children a head start. Further on in these videos, I'm going to start talking about what I do with my children and my plans for the future, and then you'll see where I'm going with this. For now, though, this is why, this is how I'm starting. I can either sit there and think, well, the pupil numbers might go up, things might be okay, or I can plan now, think now, and try and sort out the future before the future happens. So this is what this video is about. It's me thinking through my options, coming up with a few possible solutions, and talking about how I'm going to structure basically the next 10 years of my life. Okay, back to the serious desk. There's quite a few things that I want to do over the next 10 years. I'm 40 later this year. Most of them are to do with my children, and certainly all of my ideas are about assuring their future. But there are also things that I want to do myself. You know, heading towards 40, I'm about a stone overweight. I'd like to sort that out. My teeth, I've been saying for 20 years, yeah, I'll go and get dentistry and done, and, you know, other things come up and I never get around to it. So I want to sort myself out physically. If my job goes, I'm really stuck. A friend of mine who is a head teacher at a fairly local primary school had 2 vacancies come up for retirement about a year ago now. He had 150 applications for those 2 jobs. When it comes down to it, when they review the job applications, the Board of Governors are looking for 2 things. They're looking for someone who ticks all the boxes on paper. Now, I'm an experienced teacher. I've taught in a lot of different places, not just private schools, schools with problems, and, you know, I've got a wealth of experience, so I'm okay on that point. But the other one is budgets are being cut for state schools endlessly. It's absolutely ridiculous. To run a school nowadays must be the hardest it's ever been for the head teachers. So the other thing they're looking for is people who are cheap. Now, a few years ago, before I went into my current job, I was doing supply work. And I had a year 6 class, and I was the 16th teacher they'd had in that class in the school year. From that, you can guess what sort of class it was. Absolutely rough, terrible abilities, children fighting, shouting out, throwing chairs. I stayed there for 2.5, 3 months. I'd signed up to do a whole term, and I did a whole term, and the dynamic of the class changed. It went from being a place where if you open the cupboards, work from years ago would fall out through to an organised environment. But I knew what was going to happen. I knew that the LEA would find a way around it and say, hey, you're the only person who could take this class on, have the full-time job. At this point, my daughter had just been born, so I didn't want to take on what would be the hardest job I could probably ever have. I'd rather carry on at that point doing supply work and waiting for an easy job to come up, as it did, because private school, very small class sizes, it's an absolute dream of a job. The children are well behaved, the benefits are good, the holidays are fantastic. So what happened was I did the spring term, then made my excuses as to why I couldn't continue. Main one of which was my daughter's just been born, I need some paternity leave, I want to take a month off, and so I did that. After I left, the summer term saw, as I have been told, 5 or 6 other teachers go through quite quickly. I'd sorted the class out quite well. I am good at my job. But it was still a difficult class, so teachers would last a few weeks. And, they patched their way through to the summer. Then they advertised the job. I don't know how many applications they got, but, there aren't many jobs turn up. There are a lot of qualified teachers. They probably got quite a few. The person they took on for the job was a newly qualified teacher, a young lady. Now, I came along with quite a few years' experience. I've worked in very rough schools, restart centres, schools where they put children that have been chucked out of every other school in the area. I've always kind of done okay. I'm down to earth. I can talk to them. Not always perfect, but, generally I had a reputation in my supply agency of, if there's a difficult job, Mark will probably take it, Mark will probably do a good job with it. This girl that went in, the only logical outcome, because the years coming up were just as bad as the class that I had at the time, would be that she'd be sick of it very quickly. But she was cheap. She was £21,000 a year, bottom level, and those are the type of people they're looking to take on. I wouldn't mind, if my job finishes, going into a state school. I love teaching in all forms. I can take on any class and I can turn it around. I can really engage with kids. That is my one skill in life. But the fact is, jobs, as they get advertised, are going to be looking for this bottom of the pay scale employee, and there's no way that I can make myself that. So if this job goes, I'll be on supply, which is great, It's over £100 a day, and generally speaking, all the head teachers I've worked for have said, oh, it's great to get someone in who knows what they're doing, because most supply teachers are rubbish. So I know I can guarantee myself 4 or 5 days a week. Then obviously with no pay in holiday times, which is always a little bit difficult. But I don't just want to tread water. I'm starting these videos because I want to talk about what I'm going to do, how I'm going to change my life, and what my ambitions are. So here are my targets. And if you've watched the video to this point, might be an idea after you see this to write down some targets for yourself. My first one is to get fit. I've joined the gym, which is just down the road. I've got a few nights a week spare, and I do enjoy going to the gym. Second one, lose weight. That should follow in with it. I also need to look at my diet though, because I'm terrible for binging on chocolate and biscuits. Next one, start a web business. Through my current job, I've built a lot of things online. I host a lot of my teaching online, and I'm at a point where I realise my expertise in teaching can actually provide me with something. I can use it in a constructive way. So that's something else I'm going to be looking at. I want to build new skills. This video is the perfect example of it. I've had video cameras and things like that for years, and just, recorded holidays and this, that and the other, and never really used it. I want to build video skills, getting information out there. The fifth one here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yep, that's right, is to find a second income. If my job goes, I don't want it to be, right, what am I going to do? I need to earn money. If I've got something that brings in even just a couple of £100 a month, then if my job goes, I've already got a basis to build on. And the last one here, I have really good quality time with my kids, but I want to make better use of that time. I spend a lot of my weekends tidying up the house, shopping. I want to structure things properly. So that's me. I'm Mark. This is my project. If you watch this video, thanks. I'm kind of just doing this to monitor myself and make sure I stay on target and whatnot. But if I can help anyone along the way and give anyone a bit of inspiration, then fantastic. I will see you on the next video.